Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Tomcat Stitchery. I'm Whitney and today I have got 10 Italian looks that you can recreate. So if you are new to the channel or haven't really been following along this summer, I recently got back from a trip to Italy, from a 12-day trip to Italy, and was very inspired by not only the art that we saw while there, but also by the style that I was seeing around me. It didn't help that, it did help that my cousin, whose wedding we were there to attend, is a stylist in New York. That is what she does, a very successful one, actually, if I can brag on her a minute. But a lot of her friends were either legit models, like you would recognize, or stylists themselves, or in the fashion industry up in New York as well. Granted, a lot of those weren't Italian, but even the family that she married into were just beautifully dressed. Anyway, a lot of inspiration while I was there. So today, well, I didn't take any pictures of, that's kind of weird taking pictures of people as you're walking through a city. Not really, I guess, but I did not do any of that. But when I came home, I had some specific things in my head that I went onto Pinterest, searched for. A lot of the models are young because that's just who a lot of the bloggers are that I was finding. And with the exception of a couple of the looks, most of them are very classic that can be worn across all body types, all age ranges and all that kind of stuff. Because that is something I noticed with Italy. Well, we'll talk about that a little bit more. Kind of my overall impressions of how people dressed in Italy and kind of the clothing that I was seeing there. But yes, I have 10 looks that I've pulled and I've paired it with patterns and fabric. You're going to see a lot of linen in today's video, a lot of linen. So anyway, that is what we are going to do today. So before we get started, I'm actually going to sit crisscross just because it's a little bit more comfortable. Also, I'm so glad I recreated this title dress. I have just been wearing the living daylights out of it. Just love this thing. All right, so let's dig in because these videos can get a little bit lengthy. All right, so some of my general impressions while we were in Italy. Now, I've been to Europe a couple of times, younger, when I was actually much younger, like college, high school, right out of high school, college, early 20s situation. It had just been a really long time since I'd been over there. But I think one of the things that I was noticing was, and every time I've been over there, which are 3 times now, it's always been in summer. But one thing that I have noticed in Italy, in that area, we were mostly in Rome, we were in Pompeii, and we were in Naples. We did a couple of side trips and that sort of thing. Sorry, I have a very needy miss that was getting all tangled up in the like cords down below, but who clearly would like to be on my lap right now. So excuse her or maybe she doesn't want to be on my lap. Oh, she can't decide. She can't decide. Okay. I tell you, my day today has been nothing but one interruption after another. The dog, family members that don't even live with me, just one interruption after the other. Okay, so back to it, and I don't need any interruptions. I have a hard enough time keeping my brain straight as is. I don't need any additional interruptions. But one of the things that I noticed, specifically with Italy, is that while it's not as, there were a lot of neutrals, but it wasn't as dark as, dark neutrals, as you see maybe in like Paris or I don't know, Paris just strikes me, where it's just a lot of neutrals, a lot of black, a lot of navy, that sort of thing, but mixed in with some white and that sort of stuff that you mostly see. Or even like when you go to New York City and I feel like everyone's wearing black. It was not that. It was a little bit brighter. I did see a lot of solid colors. I feel like there were prints. There were definitely prints, but I did see a lot of solid, but I did see more color than I have seen in other major cities, if that makes sense, which makes sense. And the fact that it is, a warmer climate, you're down a little bit lower and maybe, I don't know, that brings, not tropical, but brings a little bit more bright colors, because it's not, I wouldn't call it tropical, but you understand what I'm saying. Brighter colors. I feel like in my head, I've never been to Spain, but that's kind of in my head, Spain and probably Portugal kind of feel too, a little bit brighter, colors and that sort of thing. I could be totally wrong because, again, I've never been to Spain or Portugal. But anyway, did see a lot of that. One thing I noticed, no one was in athletic wear unless they were actually doing something athletic. Although, or clearly coming from maybe something athletic, very little athletic wear. Another thing my sister and I noticed as we were walking through Rome is that if you were to walk in any major city in the US, you would go by, I mean, a handful of Starbucks, obviously, if you're in the US, but workout center after workout center, boutique, cycling places or Pilates places or boot camp or whatever. There are a ton of workout places everywhere. We didn't see a single one, and we walked around a lot of Rome and saw, the areas of Rome where people were living. So you saw your shops and grocery stores and all that sort of thing, but you did not see the workout centers over there that you see here. She did make that notice, but I'm not sure. I guess they just walk and bike everywhere. I don't know. And maybe they work out differently than we do here, which is, I don't know, it was interesting. It was an interesting observation. I'm not really sure what that means or if it means anything, but an interesting observation. But we didn't see anyone in athletic wear. Everyone was always put together. And I'm even talking about our tour guides. So we had some of the best tour guides. They were so good, so informative for the tours that we went on. So these are people and they all happened to be women. For the tours that we took, but this is something they do every day and a lot, and they're on their feet a ton. But all three of them, three major ones that we did, were very put together and even had on like a heel, and they were walking around, like one had a heeled boot on. I think one had like a beautiful like ballet flat on, but everyone was dressed no one was dressed in athletic wear. No one was in a legging. No one was in any kind of latex or lycra, maybe like a cotton lycra blend. But, it was very chic, boat neck t-shirt with, one gal did have on like a pull-on pant, but it just looked really, really good. I think one of our tour guides did have a pair of tennis shoes on, but they were like fashion sneakers, not like workout sneakers that you see a lot of here in the US. But everyone was just put together, and again, not in like that athletic wear. Saw a lot of classic silhouettes. Obviously with the younger people, there was a lot more like off the shoulder action, and cutouts were really big, and I have a look based on that. Was really big. A ton of linen. I mean, we're in a warm climate. A ton of linen, a ton of really beautiful fabrics. So you could tell that it's probably, and my assumption, because I'm assuming not everyone in Rome is rich. That would be a ridiculous assumption. But everyone seemed to be wearing good quality clothes. So my assumption is it is quality over quantity over there, probably. So, beautiful. You just didn't see a lot of things that looked like cheap polyester is what I'm getting at. You had beautiful people in beautiful linens and cottons and breathable fabrics, which could also be because of the climate. You don't want to be in a lot of polyester. It'd be very hot. But just really beautiful clothing that, thoughtful, a lot of, like I said, a lot of classic stuff. So that's kind of what I pulled from today. Yeah, it was impressive. And again, I feel like a lot of beautiful shoes. I mean, we were in Italy, and that's kind of what they're known for, right? Like really well done, beautiful footwear. And you definitely saw that. I didn't buy any footwear while we were over there. I did get a purse, like I showed you, but everyone had really, there were a lot of really beautiful shoes that I kept noticing while we were there. Now I will say that so the family that my cousin married into, her husband wears a lot of dark colors. He does wear a lot of like navy, black. In fact, my dad was even mentioning, he's like, I don't think I've ever seen Fabio in anything but like black or navy, dark colors. And I kind of think that that's right. But it's almost like everyone over there kind of instinctually has almost a color palette. Very on trend, very fashionable. The groom's mother had, and everyone seems to know what colors suit them really well. The groom's mother had on the most beautiful dress for the wedding that was kind of this I would assume she's either a spring or an autumn warm color palette, because it was an interesting green, probably a green that I could wear, almost like an avocado green kind of type color, really beautiful with a print. I'm assuming it was silk. It was exquisite. His sister was in pink for the wedding, but that was the wedding colors were pink. She looked amazing. She is a beautiful, beautiful woman. And she stood up with my cousin, along with my cousin's two sisters, my other two cousins. But anyway, it did seem that people had awareness of their style, their colors, and all of that thing. Okay, so that was kind of my overall impression of fashion and style while we were over there. I mean, I felt very good in everything that I had packed and took. I felt very much like I fit in, I didn't stand out like a sore thumb. You could tell tourists for the most part, maybe not so much European tourists, but you could tell the North American tourists a little bit more. Again, not all of them, but you could pick out people that were over there, which is fine, but anyway, that is kind of my overall impression. So I have been talking now for a really long time, 13 minutes, cool, on my impressions of the fashion. So let's get into these looks, because this is going to be a really long video. All right, so look number one. Saw a ton of dresses and skirts. That was definite. So I picked this look kind of as one. Lovely skirt. It's in neutrals, but they are light and cool, natural fibers, real simple lines. I saw a lot of that. I mean, I did see some ruffle and that sort of thing going on, but for the most part, everything was pretty clean, and that could just be like what's trending right now. But this really clean, simple lines definitely were looks that we saw while in Italy. So for the shirt, I have picked the Donny shirt by Friday Pattern Companies. I think you could recreate this shirt very easily in this beautiful linen from, I've got my computer over here so that I don't mess anything up, from the fabric store down in New Zealand. They're probably my number one place to buy linen. Just like your solid linens. It's just so beautiful, the stuff that they've got down there. They've got a beautiful merino as well. It's a beautiful fabric store. And I did go a little bit higher end with my fabric on this one. Just a little bit more splurges. I have a couple, well, I mean, I'm not showing you cheap fabric. I believe in quality fabric giving you a quality end product, but yes, really good linen. And then for the skirt, I actually went with the Friday Pattern Company Saturday skirt. It's actually a Saturday skirt set. There's like a little tie top that goes with that as well. Now this skirt is plain front in the front and then has elastic in the back, which I just think is so comfortable. But it's got the little pockets, it's got the slash pockets in the front, and I think if you added belt loops to this, which is very easy, you could recreate the skirt that the gal is wearing. And then for the bottom, I actually chose a lightweight cotton twill from the fabric store for this. It is in kind of an olive army green, which is obviously the gal's got it on in a camel. It has the same feel to me, just a warm, lighter colored or warm neutral on the bottom. I picked the lightweight twill though, because I think that would work really well for the gathering that happens with the elastic in the back. So you don't get too much bulk there in the back. You want to be able to be comfortable, but you don't want it to be super bulky and, have too much fabric hanging over your rear end. No one wants that. And you want things to hang nicely. So that is what I have chosen for look number one. Okay. Look number two, a lot of matching sets over there, and vests. Vests are huge everywhere, but actually this look right here, I saw quite a bit, again, in just high quality fabrics. So linens, maybe a linen viscose blends, maybe even like raw silk blends, all just very breathable fabrics, because it does get very hot, and it was hot while we were there. We definitely got sweaty. For the pattern though, this was like a dead ringer. This is Butterick 6901. This is the outfit that the model is wearing on the front here, is what I was seeing everyone wear. Now, obviously you'd want to go a little shorter with the shorts than what the gal has on, the drawing has on, just a little bit shorter, maybe like a 5-inch inseam. But that outfit, the vest with the pants, I saw that a ton ton while we were over there. And for the fabric, I've gone with this beautiful fabric also from the fabric store, and this is their heavyweight linen. So they have a few different weights of linen. Their organic linen, which is kind of their top of the line, is a little bit thinner, but still beautiful. Like I've used that quite a few times. It works great for dresses. I wouldn't do like a fitted pair of pants in it. I would go with the heavyweight linen or even their midweight linen. I think might be fine depending on how much ease you have at the hip for pants. But the heavyweight linen would hold the structure for the pants really well as hold the structure for the vest. And I've gone with this kind of natural color. The inspiration picture is a little bit more taupe, but I think you get the same look, and you could mix and match your pieces or wear them together and it would be just beautiful. So that was a fun one to find. Okay, here's look number 3. You guys, you've seen this dress. I am going to be remaking this. Obviously, I'll be using the fabric that I got from Italy to really recreate this, and I don't have a link to that fabric. I bought it in a fabric store there in Venice, and they don't have a lot of stock online, but I did find a very comparable one for you all. So for the pattern on this, and this is what I'm going to use, it's the Marcia style Grace dress. I've made this pattern once before in some silk. There was something that wasn't sitting quite right with me, and I think it was the color was maybe a little too cool for me, and also I had color blocked the top and the skirt. I tried to make that dress work. It was a stash if I make. I ended up giving that dress to a friend who is a cool palette, and she's very excited, I think, to wear it or even use it for parts and recreate something else out of it. She's quite a bit smaller than I am, so I think she'll be able to have plenty to work with on that. But it's a great pattern, and the View I think, which is just a straight gathered skirt, so that's not a tiered gathered skirt, which will keep the pattern from being broken up too much, also has the ties at the top. I did the different closure for the top when I made this dress before, but this dress comes with cup sizes. So I'm going to try this pattern again. I'm going to be using my linen for it, but I pulled the Positano linen from Cloth Edit as a beautiful dupe for this. Positano is part of the Amalfi Coast there in Italy, so it all goes hand in hand. It's a beautiful linen. I've used this fabric for a dress that I wore in Italy, but it gives that same kind of look as the pattern here. Now, Brad Schultz from Brad Schultz Design reached out to me on Instagram, and he was like, oh my gosh, that dress you were talking about would be a really good dupe for, it's a pattern that's in the newest Berta magazine, and he was totally right. Like, it was spot on. So if you have a subscription to Berta, or if you enjoy Berta magazines, this month's Berta magazine has a beautiful dress in there that would definitely work. It does have one tier on there, but it's the same style of bodice with the ties and stuff at the top. Also, Brad is amazing, and if you don't follow him on Instagram, and he's got a YouTube channel as well, you should. I'll link him down below. He's delightful. He's just happy, and he also dresses in his color palette and does all of that stuff, and he's just a really fun person to follow along on his sewing journeys. But anyway, that is another option for this dress. So I think with the Positano linen from Cloth Edit with the Marcia style Grace dress would be a great dupe for this gal. And I will be recreating this, but obviously with the fabric that I grabbed in Italy. But yeah, the Positano would work beautifully. I had to show her, right? Okay, this was another classic look. I saw a ton of like button-up situations, collared things, whether that be dresses or shirts. Again, very classic, clean lines, easy and breezy. Well, they do wear things fitted over there. They weren't, and again, it could just be like the styles right now. It was more, especially people my age, I guess I should say, is just a little bit more classic, a little bit more relaxed. I mean, still definition at the waist and that, so not totally oversized, but yes, I did see a lot of that kind of classic. For this, I have chosen for the shirt, it's the Pattern Emporium Ocean Days oversized shirt. Now, this is more of a tunic when all is said and done. And I know that she has a shirt pattern that was released at the same time as this that's a little shorter. But the gal in the inspiration pics, it's a very oversized shirt. So I think I would take the Ocean Days oversized shirt and just shorten it a little bit to where it was hitting more like high hip, just so you wouldn't have as much to tuck in. But I've chosen a beautiful cotton shirting from the fabric store to go along with this. I like the big cuffs on the shirt. It's got, you can do a camp collar on this shirt pattern or a collar with a collar stand. Typically my preference is collar with a collar stand, so I think that's the one I would go for. But it's just a real oversized drop shoulder, roll up the sleeves. It just gives you that real kind of slouchy look that I think can look really nice tucked into shorts. And for the shorts, I've gone with the Itch to Stitch Belize shorts. Now this has elastic in the back with a plain front, so you could add belt loops to put the belt on to really kind of cinch yourself. I'm just a really big fan of the elastic at the back. For anyone that struggles with weight fluctuation, it's just it solves everything, and it's so in right now. I did see a ton of elastic waist things, whether that be elastic all the way around or just in the back while we were there in Italy, as well as just when I'm doing research for looks as well. So I went with the Belize shorts. I just find them a little bit more comfortable. I would do the pleated view. And for the fabric, I've gone with a linen tencel, I think, right? Yes, a linen tencel, right? Nope. Is that for a different one? No, it is. A linen tencel blend from Minerva, because I think a little bit of drape that the viscose or the tencel or rayon or whatever gives you just helps those pleats hang really nicely. And then they aren't so sticky outy. It just kind of drapes over the body a little bit better. But it's got the pockets. The pattern has the pockets. I think it would be a beautiful marriage of pattern and fabric, and you get a really beautiful drapey pair of shorts. And I picked kind of the cream color of that fabric, although it does come in many different colors. But that was from Minerva. Okay. Next look 5. All right, we saw this one, might be, well, it depends. It depends on what parts of your body you're comfortable showing. But as you know, I made my daughter, and this is the pattern I picked for this, a McCall's dress, and it's what she wore to the rehearsal dinner night that was connected, the top and the bodice, but then was open throughout the rest of the midriff. We saw that style of dress everywhere. Every time we were turning around, she wore that kind of at the end of the trip. And so she kept being like, oh mom, look, there's another dress like that, or there's another dress like that, or another dress like that. We saw it everywhere. Some of them were sleeveless. Most of them had a sleeve of some sort on it. So I grabbed this beautiful picture of this gal where you can kind of see the back part, it's the back part of the midriff is open, so you can still wear a bra with it, and it kind of wraps around to the front a little bit. That is kind of the dress that I grabbed to kind of represent this. Sleeves were still everything in Italy, as they are everywhere, I feel like. But for the pattern, I've gone with the pattern that I made for my daughter, which is McCall's 8361. I actually have a sew along for this pattern on the channel if you're interested. But it was spot on. I could not have picked a better style for her to wear while we were there. We saw it everywhere in one iteration or another. Also with the ties that went around. We saw this style everywhere. And for the fabric, obviously the gal in the inspiration picture, it's probably like an embroidered situation that's going on. But I chose this fabric from Cloth Edit, and this is part of her linen and silk blend, I'm pretty sure. Let me see here. Yes, this is the linen silk blend that she carries. The dress that I made for the wedding was in her linen silk base, and oh my gosh, if I could wear that every day in the summer, that would be it. It is beautiful to sew with, beautiful to wear, highly recommend it. And she's got some really beautiful prints, but this one had the same look and feel as the inspiration dress, and so I grabbed that, and it would be beautiful with that pattern, that dress pattern. Okay. All right, next up, very easy. A lot of belted looks. Obviously, the late 80s, 90s are back kind of in a big way. Same goes for Italy. So again, maybe some more oversized, relaxed things, but there was some cinching at the waist, just like what this gal is wearing here. So for this one, I went with the Core Patterns, Closet Core Patterns Core t-shirt, which is a free pattern, but it is a boxy t-shirt. I actually use this when I am hacking my or re-altering my event t-shirts. So it's a lovely shape, and it's a wonderful little pattern. But for the fabric, I've gone with this. It's a Tencel jersey from the fabric store. Yes, in a black and white stripe. So very similar to the inspiration. And you could just pick a a white or, depends on how white the white is in the stripe, or if you wanted to do like cream, but something from your stash, just a cotton spandex jersey. I use that for my ribbing all the time for necklines when I'm using a different type of fabric, just cotton spandex, because I always have scraps of that. But I would use that for this t-shirt. I think you'd get some drape in there so it wouldn't be quite as boxy, but still oversized. And then for the pattern, I've gone with the Closet Core Mitchell trousers. I have this pattern. I've not yet made it up. I'm really anxious to do that because I think it's going to be wonderful for my daughter. My daughter fits into Closet Core patterns really easily, and I have the pattern printed out for her size. So I just need to get those made up. I've been meaning to do that forever. But for the fabric on the Mitchell trousers, I have gone with, yes, some of the heavyweight linen, again, in the vanilla colorway. I think with the lighter colored linens, I've used this actual linen in the vanilla colorway, the heavyweight linen, I made a pair of, what are the Anna Allen Persephone pants? I made a pair of Persephones, which are really fitted in the hip and butt area. They did fine. There wasn't like see-through and that sort of thing. I mean, I wouldn't want to wear a pair of like polka dotted underwear underneath them, but they were fine. It's a good weight of fabric. Now you could use something a little bit thinner if you were making the wider leg version of the Mitchells, but I was kind of thinking more the peg leg to go with this look. And if that's the case, I would use something with because they're just a little bit more fitted in the hip, I would use something with just a little bit more beef and go with that heavyweight linen. But yeah, you could recreate it, put a big belt on with it, and you've got the same look as the gal. All right, next up, a lot of monochromatic dressing, a lot of, maybe two pieces, but same color, that sort of thing. Also, again, like with the sleeves, a lot of strong shoulders. Saw this kind of thing in a few different spots. In fact, it's one of those styles that I kept noticing and thinking, could I pull that off? But I'm just too top heavy. I think the shoulder pads on the sleeveless top are just gonna make me look too top heavy. My sister had on a shirt like that while we were there, with a pair of pleated trousers. She looked amazing, or pleated shorts, but we are built differently. She is very not busty. So it worked really, really well on her figure and just looked stunning. And then obviously the looser pants, again, all kind of in the same color story. So for the top, I've gone with the Style Arc Kirby top, which I think my sister would be all over this for me to make her up a couple of these. And I've gone with a cotton modal blend from Style Maker Fabrics for this. I think that having a little bit of drape would be wonderful because, you've got that strong shoulder. There is a shoulder pad under there that's going to help support that. But then to have a little bit of drape so that the shirt doesn't become overwhelming on you, it kind of falls in just a little bit. So the cotton modal is a really good blend between drape and structure. So I would definitely use that. And I grabbed it in the white colorway to show you. And then for the pants, I've gone with the Style Arc Spencer woven trousers or woven pants. I have this pattern. I have it printed out. I have it altered. It's all ready to be sewn up for myself. I kind of want to make a white pair. So we'll see if I get those made up or not before summer ends. Maybe I'll make a wool pair and then line them. I have promised that video a million times. So we'll see. But for the fabric, I have gone with also from Style Maker Fabrics. It's the Kaufman, is it Brussels linen? Yes, the Brussels washer linen, which is a linen rayon blend. Actually, my one pair of my Belize shorts, the bright coral ones, and then the green Brampton shorts that I just made were in this Brussels linen. It's a little bit lighter weight, so I would definitely want something with not super fitted through the hip like the Spencer woven trousers. So you're going to get that beautiful drape, but with the lighter color, you just don't want to be able to see like all your pocket insides or the fly, when things can kind of show up real well. But when it's more relaxed through the hip, you don't get that show through, especially with the pleats that go on there in the front. So I think you would be fine getting away with this type of fabric in those trousers. All right. Next, ton of shirt dresses. And I saw a lot of shirt dresses with a little bit straighter skirts and more of like safari kind of type details, like more pocketing and that sort of thing. Definitely saw more of that, just like this gal's going. A lot of hats. I wish I could pull off a good hat. I just can't. And maybe it's all in my head, but pun intended, but I just have a very large head for the rest of my body, and it's an odd shaped head, so I have to get really large hats to fit. I was never able to wear the matching Easter bonnets growing up. Never, ever, ever. Not even close. Even now, in high school, with the one size fits all graduation caps, I had to trade caps with one of the football team linemen who was too big for the one size fits all graduation robes. So they got him like the triple X or whatever. And the cap, so it was a different sized graduation cap that came with that had like elastic and stuff. It was more. We had to switch graduation caps. He was fine in the one size fits all, and I had to wear his because the graduation cap was like perched on top of my head. It wouldn't fit down on my head. It's a big head, folks. It's a weird shaped head, I think might be more apt. It's like tri-cornered. Anyway, can't wear hats, but there were a lot of really cute hats while we were over there. So for this one, I have gone with the Vicky So's Eleonora dress. Like, this is spot on what I was seeing, even with the self-covered belt, a little bit more of a straighter skirt, the grown-on sleeves. Very much what we were seeing over there. And for the fabric, I've gone with the, I think it's the organic, isn't it? I think it's the lighter weight. I'm pretty sure, from the fabric store in the color Thistle. This is, if you've been following along the channel for a while, I use this exact fabric to make my sister a Monty shirt dress out of it. It's beautiful. The color's beautiful. My sister is a sunlit summer, and it's perfect for her color palette. I would think any of the summer color palettes, it's a beautiful, beautiful color for you guys. Anyway, it's in the color Thistle, but I would totally pair that with this dress and make basically a little bit more muted version of what the model the inspiration picture is wearing. Okay, next, wrap dresses. Yes, we saw a ton of wrap dresses. I mean, that seems to be, was kind of everywhere. Very similar to what this gal's got going on. A little bit more, I mean, she's got more of a notched collar, but yeah, stuff with collars. So like shirt wrap dresses, which also perfect because that is what I wore to the cocktail party night and worked out really, really well. But for this one, I have chosen the Nomi Patterns ME 2020. This is the pattern that I made with my Positano fabric, but I think in a solid fabric, it would be spot on for this gal's look here. And I actually picked a linen from Cloth Edit, some of their solid linen. I was so impressed with the printed linen that I purchased the patterned linen that I think I really want to try their solid linen. I would just be interested to kind of compare. But she had a beautiful cream colored white linen that didn't look to be too see-through. So she does a great job with the pictures, so you can kind of tell how transparent things are. And I think it would be a beautiful combination with the Nomi Patterns shirt wrap dress. And again, I've made that one, and it's a really cool pattern, and I enjoy wearing mine, and think that it would pair beautifully with that fabric. Okay, and then finally, another skirt. Now, this gal has got on, I saw a lot of wrap skirts and that sort of thing. Now, this is a little bit different. It's got some pleating on there that's a little different, but I think what really makes this skirt cool is the D-ring that it's got for the closure. So instead of having a tie to close your wrap skirt, just make your tie a little thicker and put a D-ring on there. You can, just like you would for like a trench coat, and then just pull it through. It just gives a little bit more different detail, I think, than maybe what you would be expecting from a wrap skirt. So, and then just a very simple tank that's there, a little bit more of the cut-in tanks. I saw those a lot where they just cut in a little bit more in the front. I've been seeing those a lot of places. I don't know that those would be necessarily flattering on me just because I have a lot of tissue, a lot of tissue that lives in this part of my body. So I don't know how far cut in I want things to be on me, but I have seen them. My sister wears them. She looks amazing in them. So yes, to each their own. But for this one, I've actually gone with, for the skirt, I've gone with a new to me pattern company, which was alerted to me by one of you guys, by Cecile. Thank you. And it's got a dressmaking, what is it called? I'm gonna totally butcher this. Dressmaking Amore, the Vienna skirt. Anyway, go have a look at their catalog. They've got some beautiful patterns and a lot that really appeal to my daughter as well as myself, but a lot of really cool patterns. And this was a new to me pattern company. But I think their Vienna wrap skirt, if it was done in the same fabric that I used earlier, I think it was for look number 4, but it is from Minerva and it is that tinsel linen blend. I think that would be beautiful with the wrap skirt. You slap on a D-ring as opposed to tying it to close it, and you would have a really beautiful look to recreate that. And then for the top, I've gone with the Paradise Patterns Bluma tank, and very, very similar. And I would make this in the same knit that I did that Kirby top with the shoulder pads, which is the Cotton Modal blend from Stylemaker Fabrics. I think that would be a beautiful marriage of pattern and fabric as well, if you were wanting simple tank and skirt combination, but just taken up a notch. So I guess that would kind of wrap things up. Like, I saw a lot of like very classic combinations while we were there, but everything was taken up just a notch. Like, that style factor was taken up just a notch to make things just real beautiful and a little bit different. So I think maybe that was maybe a better takeaway of what I kind of saw while we were in Italy. So there you have it, 10 Italian looks that you could recreate for yourself. If you're looking to have an Italian-inspired summer wardrobe, there you go. That was my takeaway from my trip in Italy. All right, guys, this is a long video. Thanks for sticking with me. I hope you enjoyed this one. I am going to be doing a 10 summer looks to recreate, where I'll be just pulling stuff from current ready-to-wear looks and then pairing it with patterns and fabric. So that will be coming up either next week or the week after. So stay tuned for that. But until then, I hope you have a wonderful Tuesday, and I will see you guys again on Friday. I hope you get some sewing in. Have a good one. Bye.